Welcome to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and I'll break them down into bite-sized tips you can use straight away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and shine. It's your daily dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Episode number 559 today. I'm going to do a little bit more about AI. It's another talky video. I'll get back onto tutorials very soon, promise. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about AI today and just some of the things that I'm finding. Now, I'm not going to say don't use AI. I think AI is a very valuable tool for business, and I think we should be using it. Let me give you an example of how I'm using it. I actually take transcripts of my podcasts here, and I upload them into a GPT I wrote. And it will go through and it will read the transcript of this podcast. And it will give me my summary, and it will give me my dot points that I want to hit in all of my marketing and stuff. And it will give me a marketing plan for it. It's fantastic. It saves me so much time. But, and there's always a but with AI and with anything else that does thinking for you. And I don't care how good it is, really. I'm probably going to eat those words later. I probably will. The thing that I find with AI is it makes its own decisions. It draws its own conclusions on things based on all of the information it pulls in. Now, if you remember yesterday's episode, I spoke about AI being a large language model. It takes input from a whole heap of things to give you an outcome, to give you an output, to answer a question. Generally, you're using AI to answer questions for yourself. And yeah, that question might be, what's my marketing strategy? How should I put my marketing strategy together? For me, how do I get, what should I be putting into my titles and my descriptions for my podcasts and stuff? Now, I don't take that output and paste it wholly and solely. I take that output, I read it, I often change it and make it more Charlified, if that's a word. I edit it so that it's in my language. I take out words that it's used and I use my own words. I heard someone the other day talking about the EM dashes that AI put in, and you can tell it's AI generated content because it's got EM dashes. They're the long dashes between words. Well, no, not really, because a lot of people use EM dashes. There's a few things that tip it. There's no spaces between the EM dashes. That's possibly an indicator, but it could also just be a writing style. So no, that's not necessarily something I worry about. If there's an EM dash in there, I will look at it, or a dash, hyphen, whatever you want to call it. I'll look at it and go, yeah, that works for me, or no, it doesn't, or I will reword it. Okay, so that's me using it to get my own content organized and put out. The other things that I use it for is when I'm looking for answers to things, or I'm looking for reasons for things. So sometimes I might need to look up, for example, privacy legislation. What does the privacy legislation say about collecting this type of information? How should I collect it? What do I need to think about? And AI is really, really good at pulling all of the information together for me and giving it to me in, sometimes it's too many words, and I have to say, can you summarize that? Just give me a TLDR. I just need a TLDR, and then I'll ask you more questions based on TLDR, too long, don't read. Didn't read. Too long, didn't read. Give me the summary. I need something that I can just quickly look at and pick the guts out of. What I've found with AI, and it's quite scary actually, because I will then go back and say, okay, cool, can you give me the references for this so that I can put those references into my documentation? I am one of those people that likes to reference my information. I like to know where that information has come from. So when someone says, where did you get that from? I say, well, I got it from the government website. This was in the legislation. This is what the legislation actually says. This was my reading on what that legislation says, based on everything I've pulled together. So you say, well, give me the link. So was this piece of legislation? Fantastic. Can I have the link to that specific piece of legislation? And it gives you a link and it goes nowhere. So I go back and I push on it. I'm like, well, this link is wrong. Oh, right. Well, yes. And the answer is not exactly is this, but the answer is something along the lines of, yes, well, if legislation existed, this is what the legislation would say. So you made this up? Yes, I made it up. And it will admit, but the AI will actually admit that it's made it up. So my point here is that don't take everything that comes out of your AI models as gospel, as the absolute truth. What I would recommend you do when you're looking for information and you're using AI, and you should be using AI to distill the information down and find credible sources for it, and then summarizing those credible sources. And what you should be doing is getting all of the information in, asking for the links, going and looking at the links, reading the content yourself, and making sure that the conclusions that have been drawn by the AI match what the content actually says. Why would I recommend that? Well, first of all, credibility is on the line. You want to make sure you're a credible source when you're doing these things. I do anyway. You also want to make sure that you are actually doing, if you follow it, like if you're looking for a particular piece of legislation, or you're looking for a particular guide on how to do something, or if you're a partner and you want to make sure you're not breaching partner guidelines, you want to make sure that you are spot on it. So going and checking all of that information is really, really, really important. The other reason is you can spike the responses from AI. If you spend enough time playing with AI, and I've done this just as a thought experiment, and I've gone through and I've said, tell me all about this, and then I've started questioning it. And I've started asking questions like, well, if this was this, wouldn't this be the case here? And it's gone, it's often thought, and it's, oh, yes, you might be right. And I can, with a series of questions on that AI, bring it around to a way of thinking that, and give me a set of answers to support a hypothesis I have, just by asking the right questions. Just by asking, not even asking the right questions, asking the questions in the right way. So do be careful when you're using AI to do your research and all of that. Make sure that you understand where the base information is coming from, what that base information actually says, and that it is something that you can put your hand on your heart and say, yeah, I support that. Is that any different? Like, so why would you use AI? I hear you say, why wouldn't you just go and do the reading yourself? Because it tells you where to start. It can take all of that information that's out there and say, here are some of the most well-read pieces of information I can find. This is what I think it's saying. And you can then go and look at that. You can also ask it to find fringe pieces of information. You can ask it to find less known pieces of information. You can go and look at that, and you can start to develop your own understanding of it. It also will then take that information and it will give you summaries. It will give you words that maybe you can understand, or you can put it in. You can say, what does this actually mean? Tell me what you think this actually means, and start to go through it that way. It really is no different to going and talking to someone who is an absolute subject matter expert in that area, and asking their opinion and getting their opinion, and then starting to form your opinions based on what they say. AI is great. AI is an absolute game changer. It absolutely helps. You can do so much with it. I am going to say that don't forget that the best analytic engines in the world are our own brains. And we need to remember that we need to bring that in. People don't come to us because we're good at using AI necessarily. They come to us because we're good at using AI and then getting to the root of the matter, getting to the truth. Well, truth getting to the root of the matter. Truth can be one of those things that's a little immutable sometimes. So anyway, there's some thoughts on AI. I'm probably going to get a few comments on that one saying, no, you're wrong. I might be. I guess the other part that I really wanted to hit on that is I'm seeing studies that say that people who are using AI predominantly and aren't doing their own research and their own thinking, their cognitive abilities are starting to decline, and it's quite quickly. I will find those studies eventually. I've got some, I saved them off somewhere and I can't find them at the moment. But by using this process, you're actually going to keep that cognitive ability going. You're going to keep your analytic reasoning going. You're going to keep your education ability going. You're not going to just abrogate it to a computer and say, just go do my thinking for me and I'll just regurgitate what you give me. I think that's important. What do you guys think? I would love to know. Come across to my community, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. I'd love to have you there as part of this conversation. This is a really important conversation for business owners, programmers, anyone to be having really about how we're learning and how AI aids our learning or doesn't aid our learning. If you don't want to join the community, that's fine. Leave comments wherever you are watching or listening to this video. And if this video has been useful to you, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. Thanks, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Hey there. Thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.